The 18th of December antiphon begins with the words O Adonai. O Adonai et dux domus Israel, qui moise in igni flamme, rubi apparuisti et ei in sina legem didisti, veni ad redimendum nos in brachio extento. O Adonai and leader of Israel, you appeared to Moses in a burning bush, and you gave him the law on Sinai. O come and save us with your mighty power. You probably know that the word Adonai means Lord. And in the Old Testament, it's one of the most prominent names used for God. It's a word which means Lord and Master in Hebrew. And it wasn't used exclusively for God, just as indeed we use the word Lord in English to address other people with special titles like Lord of the Manor or House of Lords, or even the Lord High Executioner from Gilbert and Sullivan. The word Adonai is used to show that someone has authority over you. And this antiphon takes these words from the book of Exodus, chapter 6, which is after the encounter with Moses and the burning bush. Indeed, the next line of the antiphon specifically mentions this biblical event, which was recorded in chapter 3 of Exodus. And that's where another of the names for God is given, the tetragrammaton, or tetragram, the four-letter Hebrew word, which signifies God's name. I am who I am. The Church follows the custom of pious Jews and replaces the tetragram when it has been spoken with the word Lord, and therefore Adonai becomes the most common substitution for both Jews and Christians with regards to God's name. My soul magnifies the Lord is what Our Lady will sing after, and we sing with her after this antiphon. It's God's choice that Mary is the means by which the Lord comes into the world. And so the burning bush as a location of liberation, the place where the Israelites would be led out from their slavery from Egypt, well, it won't surprise you that Catholic theologians identify Mary with the burning bush as the location where the freedom into the promised land begins. And so that Mary brings the Saviour of the world, like the location of the burning bush, which burnt on all sides but was not consumed, was not injured but grew green and blossomed beautifully. So also our Blessed Mother. The call of Moses by way of the burning bush and the connection with Mary for the early church fathers was self-evident, and it even makes its way into the dogmatic definition of the Immaculate Conception by Pope Pius IX. He makes a quotation of St. Gregory of Nyssa saying, and I quote, "The light of divinity did not consume the burning bush, even as the flower of her virginity was not withered by giving birth." Quotation from the book of Malachi speaks of how the angel of the Lord makes way and ready for the Lord's visit to his temple and heralds the divine covenant. Well, the angel of that great council is none other than Christ himself. And the burning bush signifies the incarnation of the Son of God, God becoming man. Just as the fire did not consume the bush, so the divinity of Jesus did not destroy his humanity. We may not appreciate that when we say true God and true man in the creed, that we are speaking out an absolute divine truth. The fact of the matter is that Jesus became human. And while in the early church there were often disputes about whether the Lord had a human mind or a human will, out of respect for his divinity, we know that the human nature of Christ was no threat to his divinity. We do not need to divide Christ into two persons. The Blessed Virgin Mary is indeed, yes, the mother of Christ, but she is the mother of God. And ever since, when the Church calls Mary the Mother of God, she means to imply that full divinity and full humanity are united in the one person of Christ. How wonderful that God became one of us.